Okay, good morning. Give me 1 second here. I just want to make sure that I keep you guys in screen. And I'm not using my laptop today, so hopefully I can pull this off without using my laptop. I've moved my desk. I'm in a whole new area. I actually haven't moved my desk. I'm working on my packing desk right now. That's what I'm doing. So just because there's more light and I'm not using my mic, so hopefully you can hear me. It's just a whole I'm not doing today. Okay, so in your kits, these are all the pieces you got. We reviewed this already. You've got your album, okay? You've got this guy here. You've got this little square here, and you've got your papers that go into your album. The $50 kits are a binding album, okay? That's the difference. One of the major differences between the $50 kits and the $25 kits is you will be binding your albums. Another difference that we went through is that you will have fabric fronts. Why can't I think right now? Probably because it's still early. You will have fabric fronts for your books. You'll also have fabric covered notebooks, okay? And they're pre-made for you as well. So the ones that are in the $25 kit, they're paper. They're just as pretty. They're just paper. That's the only difference. Book plates, that's the word I'm looking for. You'll have in the $25 kit the paper book plates, which is also fine. It's really no big difference. So you've got little bits and pieces throughout your kit. You received things in your kit that the $25 kit does not have, and that included a full-size 12 by 12 sheet of paper. Now, the reason that I did that is I wanted to actually walk you through step by step how I built the frame for this book. I wanted you to be able to build more. So maybe you could use it, as a Christmas gift, or maybe you'd like to make more of them out of season, perhaps, right? So I'm going to teach you how to build this. That's the plan. And I'm going to start with that. And then you also have this square piece of paper. I'm going to teach you how to make an origami envelope as well that you can put in your book. But you can use them, these origami envelopes, once you have these techniques down pat, you can use them for anything. So I'm just going to grab a 12 by 12 sheet of paper, and I'm going to be walking away probably a few times because I'm not working at my desk today. I'm working somewhere else, so I will be walking away a few times. So I'm grabbing a 12 by 12 sheet of paper. Just any random sheet is fine. Actually, that's not true. You could use any random sheet. A double-sided random sheet would be best, and something that doesn't have pattern going in one direction. So a really nice variety of direction and nothing specific. Hang on, I'm just looking. I need to find one myself. Hang on. Okay, I'm going to go with solid just because it's safe. So I'm going to go with a solid color. So I've got this one here, and it's red and green, and this is going to be my selected choice. If you have one with a pattern, once you start folding, what's going to happen, see, so this one's patterned, right? The patterns will change direction as you start to fold, right? So if you don't have that kind of figured out which way you want that pattern to go, or if it bothers you that it could end up upside down, which it shouldn't, because the reality is you're going to cover this with all kinds of embellishments anyway, but if that happened, then you would end up with your patterns upside down, and that could bother some people. Doesn't faze me, but just so you're aware. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to start by building the frame on this album. I want you to see how it's done. You received a 12 by 12 sheet, which was folded, and that's just so I could make sure that I got it to you at a cost-effective price point. And that was my plan, right? So my post office happens to be very picky with me. They charge me for everything. I have no lenience here for that. So I'm just going to trim this off. If you have ends on paper, like if you have scrapbook paper like this, quite often you can just cut this off and use this as a tag, right? So I'm just going to cut it because you never know if we want to use it as a header in our album, right? And you flip it over, there's another one, and you can just cut it. And then you could use the green strip if you wanted to as a belly band. They really try to give you the opportunity to use all the bits and pieces on a sheet of paper when you're buying your scrapbook paper directly from a scrapbook supplier. Michael's paper is not generally like that, but okay. So here's the deal. And it's been a while. I mean, I made these kits eons ago, so I'm going to do this by memory. We're going to take that 12 by 12 sheet of paper and we're going to fold it in half. Okay, we're going to get some nice creases. If you have a bone folder, go ahead and use that now. Then we're going to open it up like this and we're going to fold it the opposite direction. So you'll end up with 4 squares at this point. So go ahead and make that fold. Now there are several different ways that you can use one sheet of paper to make an album. And this is just one of, I think I've seen 3 different ways that you can do this. And the way we're doing it is designed to have a pocket in it. But there are other techniques out there that you can do it without having the pocket, okay? So now you've got your sheet folded into 4 squares. We are going to take, here's your center point. We're going to take this portion and fold it right to the middle, okay? I'm going to go right into the middle. You want to make that as even as possible and stretch it up there. Flatten it down. Okay, use your bone folder. You can also use scissors. Just be careful, like if you wanted to use your scissors and kind of press it out. Don't hurt yourself. Maybe the other end, like this is pretty strong too, so you can see. Use the other end. That's a little safer than using your blade. Okay, so now this half of the sheet you can see is now folded with 4 parts to it. We're going to flip this over and we're going to do that again. I have a ton of these sitting here that I like started or worked on or kind of got going. I'm going to use them for, I have a craft fair coming up at the end of November, so I'm going to actually finish them all up and put them in my craft fair. So now you should have a sheet of paper that actually has 8 divided areas, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, okay? 8 pieces, 8 areas. What you're going to do is you're going to take your scissors and you're going to cut along the center line, but you're only going to cut to this last section. Do not cut this area right here, okay? Just go to that point, follow your crease, and cut all the way along the edge to there, okay? And now your paper will look like this. All right? Perfect. What you're going to do is you're going to now fold it backwards in half. So you're giving an extra tightened crease on this one piece that you just did not cut. Okay? We left that together. And that's what keeps this whole book in place. Now, you're going to start folding it like a book, okay? Some of your creases will be going opposite of the original way that you first put them in. And then I want you to go over, once you've got it flip-flopped, and just reinforce those creases, okay? So this is what you're gonna have now, like this. So what we're gonna do is we are going to glue this because we don't want this to be flip-floppy like this. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna glue this. Now, you can glue it completely shut if you want to. If you don't wanna use it as a pocket, you don't have to. But if you wanna use it as a pocket, when we flip it like this, you can see, you can either have this side as your pocket, or you can flip it over and have this side as your pocket. It's really totally a matter of preference. This would be folded edges with your pocket if you put your glue on the back, or you would have, you know, plain edges on this side if you put your glue on the back here. So just take a look at it. Either way, there's no right or wrong answer. Just get some glue on there. We're going to close that up. You can close it permanently as well, or you can have the pocket, okay? I've designed this particular kit for you guys to have the pocket because you have a little blue card that you can slip inside of it, and it's a perfect fit for your book. So it's your choice, whatever you want to do. I'm going to go ahead and I am going to create a pocket out of it. I'm going to put my glue on there, and it's just an L shape, so I'm going out to the end of the book and then across the top. I'm not putting any glue on my seam area down here. I don't need to because that will stay shut. And then I'm just going to fold it in half. Some of your glue is going to seep out. Okay. There's your seepage coming out. Just wipe that away. And again, you can seal it completely shut if you want to. That's up to you. Okay. Just like that. And I wanted to take this step, like I had said when we first got started. I wanted to go through this with you step by step because I wanted you to be able to make another one of these, you know, by simply having a piece of scrapbook paper available to you, and being able to kind of create your own journal if you wanted to. And you now have exactly what I made for you to get started in your kit, okay? The only thing that's missing is, so say you didn't buy a kit, but you'd like to try this project, you don't have the sheets of paper to create your booklets. So all of the kits come with these sheets of paper. I've cut them to size. For those of you who have the $50 kits, you already have your holes punched into them so that they're ready to bind into your booklets. The people who have the $25 kits are stapling these extra sheets into their booklets. Okay, do you need to have those extra papers? No, I'm sure that you could embellish this without having any extras. For those of you who did buy the $50 kits, you have all kinds of extras, right? That's kind of part of what you paid for when you got the $50 kit. There's extra embellishments, there's extra cards. I sent you more than what you need for the album that we're about to bind and put together ourselves. You'll see you have more pieces than necessary. So I'm going to go ahead and set this aside. I just wanted to give you that tutorial on how this was built. Very simple, quite straightforward, super cute. You can bind it shut. We're going to go through the motions right now. But before we do, I would like you to find the square sheet of paper that I had given you. Now, I want you to know something before you go cutting. There are a few different types of pieces of paper in here. Let me just find the other ones before we cut. What do we got? Hang on, I'm looking through all my stuff here. This one, no. You should have some squares in your kit, and the squares are for you to cut in a diagonal. If you watched the first time that we built this, I know the audio on that was terrible. That's why I'm not using my microphone right now. There are some squares for you to cut. I may not have put them in the $50 kit because I gave you more tags and things, but just a blank piece of paper. They were cut perfect size for this so that you could cut them on an angle and make them tuck pockets. Any piece of paper will do. So for your larger kits, I wanted to teach you to make the origami envelope. If you have a piece of paper like this size, it's approximately maybe a 3" by 3". That's what we're going to sit down with. Any perfect square will do for this project, okay? So this is a double-sided piece, and double-sided, you don't have to have double-sided, but it does make a difference, and you're going to see how this comes together. So I want you to take this piece of paper and I want you to fold it perfectly corner to corner in half. So you're building a triangle. Fold that in half. Just like this, okay? Perfect. Now once you've gotten there, I want you to take your corner, keep your highest point triangle up top, okay? Take your corner and I want you to bring it across so that See your tip is coming to the edge over here? Bring it across and press it down. Okay? Like that. Then I want you to grab the other side and do the same thing. I want you to run it across. It doesn't have to go all the way to the end, but it should be close. We're working with a really tiny piece of paper. You're going to create a very tiny envelope out of this. If you're working with a larger one, you're going to have larger envelopes. Okay, but I wanted to give you a piece of paper that was going to create an envelope that's actually going to fit in your book. Okay, now this is what it should look like. This is where you should be at. Couple of folds, right? Folding over each other like this. And then all you're going to do is take one of these upper flaps and bring it down. That's it. I'm going to put this down on the paper. Fold that down. If there's any adjustments to your folds that you want to make, you can do that now, right? Like that. There's your pocket. It's inside there, right? Okay. Doing it a couple different times just to make it like you'll get, I guess my point is you'll see, do it a couple different times to get your kind of press points right. So I'll do it one more time with a bigger one. Just going across, little origami envelope. And then you're going to glue it, but I'm just showing you with a bigger piece of paper how to get that done. Okay, the thinner the paper, the easier it will be, but the thicker the paper, you're going to obviously have a stronger envelope. So we went across, and I'm just going to fold one of the two pieces down, if I can grab it. There we go. And then just fold it open. And you can see what happens when you're working with a pattern paper. It really doesn't matter that your patterns are not going in the right direction. You're going to stuff that full of stuff anyway. We're going to go ahead and put some glue on this now. So I'm going to open it back up. And our glue points, it's completely up to you how much gluing you want to do. I'm just going to go along the fold of the top and then press that down. I'm going to go along that fold again like this. So I'm not coming down here, but if you want to, you can. And I'm just going to press that like that. All right, and then I'm going to go across one more time so I can pull my flap down. Okay, like this. And you might have some seepage, just wipe that away if you do. No big deal. And then I'm just going to hold it and press it and just try to keep it in place. Now, if you like to ink, you could be doing your inking before you make this pocket. You can ink your edges. You can ink in here. This looks really nice when you ink it in here. It looks really nice when you ink this section. If you would like to, you're welcome to do that as well. But now you kind of have the basic foundation of building an origami pocket, which you can use in any albums, any kits we make, anything like that, you'll be able to use those. And see, this one's too big to fit in here. So that's why you have the smaller one like this, because you could fit it in there, which will hold, you know, whatever. You could tuck little notes and things in there. All right. Good. I hope you love that. So that piece of paper came in your $50 kit as well. Let's move into actually building the albums. So you have one already ready to go. If you just followed along and built one of these with me, then you can use that one as well if you'd like to. The only thing I want you to keep in mind is that I have pre-punched the holes in the one I sent you that's already made. If you just made one and you wanted to use your papers to fill in, you won't be able to unless you have a piercing tool to punch your holes, okay? And that's why I do it for you, because I know that not everybody has piercing tools at home, or you may not have the proper measurements, like understanding how to get the proper measurements in place. So that's kind of part of, you know, the time and effort that I put into making these books for you, is when I'm putting the time into piercing and measuring and preparing you, okay? So you need to grab a needle, and you will have in your kit this card with some different fabrics and things on it, but buried in here you'll have your thread to do your binding. Now, I've seen a few different people do the binding with this type of thread, and I thought it was a really good idea. Okay, I'm going to give you my Coles notes on this here. So I wanted to try it with this album because really this album that we're building is not really being built to last as a longevity thing. It's more of just like a place for you to put your notes, right? Once it's full, or, you know, when you're bored of it, you're going to move on to something else. So longevity really wasn't a big deal when I was thinking about putting these together. It was more about just building something different and unique. And when I saw people using this type of thread, I thought, okay, we're going to do that. In our previous video, if you were able to get through it, because oh my, I tell you, the audio was awful. So if you were able to get through it, I broke, when I was threading, I broke this thread. So it is not strong enough for this, okay? So you need to be really careful when you're doing your threading. I always use wax thread when I'm doing my binding, always. Okay, and I don't think I'm going to stray from that now that I've had the experience using this particular type of thread. You know, I'm not Hulk, but I definitely broke it. So grab your white sheets of paper, and what I've done is I've designed this that 3 sheets are going to go per section. So I want you to separate these into sets of 3, and you can do that now and thread your needle. I felt that 3 was enough because what that does is it gives you 12 writable areas, right? Because you're folding it in half like this. Okay. So if you're building with a $25 kit, this would be a point that you're stapling. And we did that in the other video. Again, my apologies for the audio on that. So this would be the point that you go ahead, you're doing the exact same thing. The only difference is you're not binding, you're stapling. So you would be able to go ahead and put your stapled points in now. If you are stapling, you're basically just going to open it up and staple on the seam. I like the closure portion of the staple to be on the inside of my book and the nice flat part to be on the seam, but that's completely up to you how you want to do that. So what you're going to notice is I want you to take a look at your album. Where did I put the holes for you? Okay, for those of you who are binding with me right now, find the holes. Take your 3 sheets of paper, fold them in half, and I want you to lay them down and just make sure that your holes are pretty much where they need to be. If they're not lining up close, flip it over. Okay, because they may just need to be flipped because they're off a little bit, right? So just flip it over. Mine seems to work both ways, so it's golden and we're good to go. So I'm only doing, when I do my junk journals, when I do my wax thread, I double up my thread. So you're getting double the strength. Obviously with wax thread, it's such a strong product. I just want that extra durability, especially if I'm making journals that I'm selling. I want you to have a good quality product that's going to last. So I double it. With this thread and with such a small amount of papers in your signature, you really don't need to double this up. It was designed, and I cut these for you to just have one layer of thread. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead inside, and I just want to make sure that, I'm surrounded by lights right now. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put the needle into the top, and then I'm going to find my hole on this side and go into, see, binding live for me is tough because I want to bring it right up to my face. So there we go. Okay, I'm through my 3 sheets and I'm also through my album. There it is on the back. I'm just going to go ahead and pull it, and I'm going to pull it all the way. I did not cut this thread. You can if you want to, but I think if you leave it in the state that it's in, I'm just pulling it through and I'm going to show you. I'm going to leave about that much. We're going to tie in the middle. So that's an efficient amount to leave behind. I'm not cutting it. You can if you want to, but I'm not, because I'm just going to go ahead and keep threading each one and cut after I've got the amount that I want. So now I'm going to go in the back of the book in the hole that's there for you, and then I'm going to go through the 3 pieces of paper. I'm cutting up through the center, and I'm just pulling that through. Now this is the point where we can't play Hulk, so do beware. Okay, we're going in right here, center point. Don't over tighten it. It really doesn't need it anyway. That's enough. I'm not going to push my luck. So that's good. Now we have some flexibility here, and I had told you in the previous video, when we get to binding the $50 albums, I'm going to show you some tricks on things that you can do to tighten that tension. Again, this particular book is not built to be a forever book for you. It's more of just having a journal you can throw in your purse or make some Christmas notes. It's not going to be something that you keep as a memory or a memory book for a later time. So it doesn't really need to be, I guess, perfect, number one. Number two, you don't want to overfill it. But I'm going to go ahead and show you what we can do. I've got Etsy stuff beside me. I don't want to go and use that stuff. Okay, just give me 1 second. I'll get some extra paper. What do we got here? There. Maybe. Cutoffs and such. I've got a bag full of cutoffs here. So I'm just grabbing extra paper to do a demonstration, but you get to think creatively and think outside the box when it comes to doing this. So let's just say I wanted to have this little flap piece in there. As you go into the album, you'll be able to start sliding pieces inside here. Okay, you can either crease it when it's in, or you can fold it in half perfectly before. And if you didn't want to make it a perfect half, you could even just do a small fold like this, right? And then slide that in like that. There's lots of different ways that you could do this. And look, we could make it a window. You know, something that folds like this and like this. So you don't have to do it where the actual thread is. The other trick behind this is you can send it right through. See? So you can fill your spine and you can keep adding things to make that nice and thick. Now that applies to any junk journaling, any binding that you're doing in the future. It doesn't matter if you do it on this book. It's just a little trick that I wanted to show you. But I'm not going to do anything. And the reason I'm not is when these books are built, they're quite thick. So I'm not going to go ahead and add anything to it because it really does take care of itself once it's built because it is quite thick. Okay, so I've got my first section in, and we're just going to keep moving forward and putting these sets of 3 in the areas where I have already put the holes in for you in advance. Okay, so you look for your holes. You know, it does help me if I bring my glasses when I work, right? So for this one, I have the holes in the center, and I'm certain that all of yours will be the same, and I'll tell you why. Because the middle section of the book is the most durable because of this pocket, right? It's also the area that we like glued together. We've doubled it up. It's really, really durable. So when you're adding signatures to your book, it's supposed to be 2 on each side, okay? So this one would actually go on the other side. So when you're adding signatures to your book, you're going to want to make sure that you're putting it in your thickest areas where it's going to be the strongest, right? So I'm going to put this one here. You can lay it out in advance if you want to. So I've got one here. I'm also going to have one here. And then when I flip the book over, my other 2 are going to be in that center strong point, okay? And that's how I've got my holes punched for this one. So look for your holes and just follow along based on where I've put your holes in place for you. And I'm just looking for mine here. I've got 2 there and 2 there. So I'm going to actually flip my book over and put these ones in place. How am I backwards? You know what, guys? I'm backwards. Just hang on a second. Where are my holes on this side? I waited too long from the point that I built these books to the point that we are going live with it. Actually, we went live earlier. So I flipped over. This one's going here. I'm going to end up taking this one out, and I'll show you why in a minute. So I'm pulling through. I should make myself little notes, you know, this goes here, and then we always have this little notes section that I can refer to. There we go. So many paper crafts on the go this past week. I've done all kinds of things. I've been keeping busy, that's for sure. Okay, so we're going to go ahead. We've got this one in. I'm going to remove my other one and take it to the other side. I'm going to make that tighter before I tighten it. Hang on a sec. Just trying to keep my finger pressed down as much as I can. I don't want to pull too tight. This is where the halt can break it, so let's try to be careful. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to remove this one. And I have extra thread, so I'm okay with just cutting it and pulling it apart. And I'm going to take it to the other side. Okay, so on this side, my pocket flap is face down. And then on this side, I'm putting a signature here and a signature here, like this. Okay, remember to line up your holes and make sure that they're sitting properly, which they should be fine, but just double check it. And then we're going to go in there and in there. Leave enough so you can tie it. Go back through the back side of it and do check and make sure that you have nothing getting hung up or caught up in here before you start tying. I've done that before where I've tied pages together without even realize I'm doing it. So just happy accidents, happy accidents. There we go. So I'm just going to tie that, keep it as low and tight as I can. No, I can't put too much force on it. Okay, so there we go. That one's done. And now I'm going to flip my book over. So I've got like a starter page, a signature, right? Your center point, which is your pocket. There's your pocket. Can you see that? Okay. A signature and my back page. I'm going to go ahead and flip that over now. And I'm putting my next 3 sheets in the middle where we talked about the strong point. Okay, there's your reverse pocket because the opening for this pocket's on the other side. And I can see my holes right in the edge there because this is nice and strong, this area. So I'm going to make sure my holes are where they need to be, which is golden. And I'm going in and go back through the back and through your signature. Make sure you got all your sheets. Come back up and go ahead and tighten that up. So what I've been thinking while we're chipping away at this is I would like to, there we go, I would like to figure out how to get these videos into YouTube, because that way if somebody isn't able to build with us at that time frame and they may come back to it a month later and say, okay, I'm ready to build, I need that footage, instead of hunting through Facebook to find them, I could simply send them the link to the YouTube page, and that just makes so much more sense. But my problem is I don't think my phone will hold these videos because they're almost an hour and a half that it takes for us to build our kits. So I'm not really sure how to do that without going live through YouTube, and I'm not sure that I'm comfortable going live through YouTube. That is not something that I have done for crafting yet, so I'm not sure how I feel about that. All right, perfect. That was just enough, thank goodness, because I used a little extra and made a boo-boo, so that's good. I've got lots, and I did try to make sure everybody had lots to be able to make a mistake. So, or use it for whatever extra if you want to, but you should have leftover. I was very specific with my measurements, that I understand that mistakes happen. So I did try to accommodate you for that room or leeway of making a mistake. There we go, guys. Okay, so we are all bound. This is what the book looks like to this point. Remember, the pocket opening is on the other side. So if you're following along at the rate that I'm moving right now, your pocket opening will be face down. If you have your album laying open the same way I do, you will have your front page, a blank page, and then a signature is built in here, a signature is built in here up against that pocket, and then a blank page and a blank page. When you flip your book over, there's our pocket opening. You've got a blank page, which is kind of like your title page. You've got your signature. You've got your pocket. There's your pocket right there. And then you've got a signature, and then you have your back page, okay? Kind of looks like this when you stand it up. You can see. I have to reinforce my folds now. There. Can you see? I'm just going to double check and make sure you can see what I'm seeing. Good. Excellent. Okay. So you're all set. So now, what we can do at this point is we can put our front and our back fabric title page book plates on. Okay. So I stitched these for you. They're super fun. A fabric glue would be great, but if you don't have one, you know, a tacky glue works just fine. So we're going to go ahead and mount these into our book because we know that the front and back pages are not going to change. We know where they are and where they belong. And this glue always makes me squeeze so tight. I have to put it down. Yeah. And you can go ahead and put some of that glue over top of the stitching if you want to, just to reinforce the stitching, but it should not go anywhere. I have reinforced it when I was cutting the threads. I tied all the threads for you. Okay. Now, one of the things that we talked about in the previous video, I'm going to go over this one more time here, is that you can actually create some fraying on these if you want to. You can start pulling threads out from the ends of your fabrics and it will create a frayed look. So I'm going to bring that up as much as I can. See all the bits and pieces that are coming out here? If you were to keep pulling those, it's going to fray the edge of your fabric. Can you see how my fabric is fraying? Can you see that? I don't know. Yeah, I'm good. Okay, so you can see it's kind of fraying, right? When you pull these, and the more you pull, the more of a fray you're going to have on the edge of your book plate. So if you really like that look, you can go ahead and start pulling these pieces apart. But if you don't, then just glue as close to the edge as possible to prevent it from fraying on its own. Okay? So you get that frayed look by pulling them out. And then if you want to take it to another level, you can take a little bit of glue, roll it in your fingers, and roll it through the fibers that you have frayed, and it will clump them together and make them kind of even more like a old, rustic-y, I don't know, frayed kind of look, right? So that's just another technique that you can do. And the thing is, because I've stitched these, they're not going to go past this point. When you glue them, they won't go past your glue point either, okay? They won't be able to get past that point. So keep that in mind when you're putting your glue on. There we go. Okay, so I have one on this side. I'm going to flip it over and put this one on this side. I'm obsessed with this glue. We've covered this before as well, but I'll show you one more time here. It is a very sticky glue, but man, it dries fast. It's great for fabric. I really like it, and I got it at Walmart. And it's not cheap, but it is a fantastic glue. I really like it. There we go. We're just gonna pop that down. You can put it wherever you want. You want to put it on the bottom, on the top, in the middle. If you put it in the middle, one thing I want you to keep in mind is I have also sent you, for those of you who have the $25 kit, you have a package here to make your closure tassel elastic closure. Okay, a tassel elastic closure. That's what this is in this baggie. Pardon me. So when we put these book plates on, your tassel would kind of hang over here. You're going to see that in a few minutes anyway. So keep that in mind when you're doing your placement. If you wanted that tassel to kind of be below your book plates, then move your book plates up a little bit. I'm just going to clean up some of these bits and pieces. There we go. Okay, so here we are. This is what we got so far. All right, so now going into the bits and pieces that are in your kit, you have two of these booklets. They have fabric tops on them. They're just kind of like little note booklets, all right? And staple fronts obviously come to the front. And you can start going through your book now because you're going to embellish it and decide where do you want to put these. Now, you can put them both on one page. So it would look like this, right? You can spread them out if you want to. You can, I'm going to open this up for a minute. You could put one here and one here. You could put one here and one here. Like, you could take one to the back of the book if you wanted to. You could have one right in the middle if you want to, right there, and take one and put it in the same spot, but towards the back of the book. It is 100% up to you, right? This is all up to your creativity and what you want your finished product to look like. So the last time we were building, I did them kind of one high and one low, and I'm going to do the same thing because I just loved how that looked. But I'm going to decide, do I want that on the front or do I want to flip the book over? What do I got for free space back here? So free space is in with my signatures. One here and one here, one here, one here. I think I'm going to put them on the other side. I'm going to put them on this side. So now it's just a matter of where. I'm going to put one here. And one here. Yeah, I like that. So go ahead and you're going to put, you can do the glue on the whole sheet if you want to. You can do it just strictly on the fabric if you want to. This is really up to you. There's no right or wrong. Again, this is not a lifelong memory book that you're building. This is just a place to make some notes. I'm going to do the whole sheet. Let's just hold that bad boy down. Any glue will do. You do not need special glue for this. Fabric glue is good if you've got it, but it doesn't matter. Even a standard white Elmer's glue will do it. I'm going to go ahead and put this one down. Perfect. Happy with that. Okay, so you made your little origami envelopes at the beginning of this. If you wanted to pop that in somewhere, you can certainly do that. You received in your kit, I'm going to just go through, you can look at your items that are in your packaging. So you've got this blue card. You can go ahead and pop that right into the pocket right now. We'll put things in place that just kind of automatically have a home. That's what this is for. So look for your pocket opening. Just want to make sure. This is going to start to fill up on you. All right, so my pocket opening is here, and I'm just gonna put my blue card in there, and I've cut these to make them fit in your pockets just right. So that should slide right in there and not give you any problems. Okay, they're cut to fit. I'm just gonna check and see if you're saying anything. No? Okay, good. You're good. All right, so now you've got these pieces of paper in your kit. These are like little, you can write some notes. And what I was trying to say to you earlier is when it comes to sliding things inside your signatures, you really don't want to add too much more to this. And that's why I'm not going to, because these things get crazy thick with so many different areas that you can write and do things. So as you start the embellishment process, I really want you to think about how thick of products you're putting into this when you're embellishing. That's why I sent you these flat, super thin pieces of paper. Look, ta-da! It utilizes the page. It allows you to make notes on this page, but you are not bulking the book out even more than it needs to be. You just glue it on and go flat, you're good to go. So that's where I'm at, and that's what I'm gonna do now. I have 3 full-size ones and 2 small. I'm gonna find the places I'd like to put these full-size ones, okay? And I think what I'm gonna do this time is I'm gonna put my full-size flat ones inside where my signatures are, because then I'm not pushing out my signatures any more than they already are. If I built a pocket here, not only do I have the thickness of the pocket, but then I would also have the thickness of whatever I put inside the pocket. So I think I'm going to utilize this a little differently, and I'm going to use the areas where my signatures are to pop in these nice flat papers. Okay, and you can use a glue stick for this. Mine rolled away. It rolled almost to the other side of my table. You can use a glue stick for this. Again, the longevity with this book, that's not the purpose. It's just meant to be here for you as a journal, and it's not here forever, right? Now, if it lasts forever, that's up to you. That's wonderful. But you know what? I'm going to put this on the other side. I flipped my book just for a minute because I wanted to see what kind of paper was there, and I like this better for this particular sheet. It's got the green and the red, and so does the paper. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I'm using a glue stick for these, which is totally fine. Nothing wrong with that. I'm getting it everywhere. I'm trying not to do it on my placemat because I use that for my photos, my Etsy stuff. Although I think I have another one somewhere, but okay. That's good. I'm just going to stick it somewhat center. In here. There we go. Done and done. Okay, very simple. Nice little place to make some Christmas notes, whatever you want to not forget to grab for dinner, or whatever baking you plan to do, or whatever shopping you have to do. There you go. Now you have a place to put that information. So these are the next 2 that I have left. I think I'm going to move this guy to this side. There's Santa. Yeah, I like him on this side. He looks good. Move things around and take a look where you think you might like it best. He looks good here. Or he can go here. I'm going to put him here. Okay, very simple. Pop them in place, and there you have it. Okay, I've got a blank one, and I'm loving how this comes together on this paper. I'm going to just check the back side and see if I like it better, but I think I like how it looks on this side. starting to get thick and floppy on you? It's a lot to move around, isn't it? It gets crazy. I can't believe how much you can do with one sheet. Oh, I do like this. With one sheet of scrapbook paper. Look at what we're turning this into, right? I love it. So I'm going to go ahead and put that down on this side using my glue stick. The dollar store ones, the dollar store brand, they're no good. Don't buy them. Do not buy them. That's my opinion. I mean, it's a matter of opinion, but what I've noticed with them is they dry out before I even get to use them. They don't really work that well. They just kind of like dehydrate and then become like this hardened little stick of skinny glue. It's weird. Yeah, they're just not very good. It's worth, spending the money or putting the money into a brand name like Elmer's or, something that a brand name that you're familiar with. Walmart is where I'm getting mine because the dollar stores are they're just not good. Okay, so now I've got those in. Now I want you to go ahead again and take a look what else is in your kit. What did I send you? What do you have to work with? These little guys I absolutely love. You should have these in your kit. They're so cute. I'm going to put them on the other side. And, well, I don't know, Santa. Ooh, look, Santa looks nice here. So these are just really meant to be like a decoration. I tried to give you things that are going to be flat because your book is going to get thick, right? So you have those. You have a tag like this, and you have a tag like this. This was more about the decoration of the tag itself. It's actually a note card. You could write something in it if you wanted to. Another thing that I was thinking with these is you could tuck them into a pocket. If you create a little corner pocket, which we'll go to there, we'll do that in a minute. But you could tuck them in a pocket and have it kind of as a backup for if you had a gift. I've actually been in the scenario before where I need something to write on. I'm about to hand over a gift and I don't have a tag. So it could be a backup tag for you. So that was kind of a thought depending on how you intend to use your book, okay? Or you could just mount it in just like this and it creates a decoration. It's just like an extra page decor piece for you, and that's up to you. So we have these two pieces. You should have an envelope in your kit as well, so you can tuck things into it. Now, the thought process I had with giving you an envelope was if you're buying, one thing I do every year is I buy, I don't know, 10 to 15 $2 Tim Hortons gift cards. And I don't have a purpose for them immediately, but I know $2 buys somebody a coffee. So I buy them in advance and I keep them on me. And if I'd like to make sure that I gift something to somebody or treat them to a coffee, I might simply send them a $2 Timmy's card and say, have a coffee on me. So that's a common practice I have at Christmas, to keep a couple of them in my Christmas notebook. If I keep this in my purse, I always have them on me, especially if I run into somebody that, maybe I want to give it to them. I don't know, whatever. So it was a thought. The other thing that you can do with it is use it for your receipts. If you're trying to keep all of your kind of Christmas notes and Christmas organization in this book, then you can tuck the purchase receipts into this envelope as well. So that was another thought process on building the $50 kit and why you have an envelope in your package. So we talked about keeping areas somewhat flat where your papers are. I don't really want to have an envelope here that I'm going to stuff full, right? This is where my signatures are. I'm not going to have it on my front and back cover. So I'm going to flip my book over. What do I have left? Did I leave myself anywhere? I did, because I can put it here, I can put it on the back, or I find myself back into the signatures. So I think I'm going to do this. I'm going to put mine right here. And what I like about putting it on this back page is when I open my envelope to put things in and out of it, I have no more book in my passage, right? There's nothing else in my way. I don't have to fight with any signatures or anything, any other part of the book to get in and out of this envelope. So I'm going to go ahead and put this envelope down right here because that works for me. You put yours where it works for you. I'm gluing the back side and keeping my flap up. Okay. And again, I'm not making this perfect because it's not being built to be forever. So little glue stick does the trick. Good for me. There we go. Perfect. All right. As you go through, you're just looking, what can I put where? You're looking at what you've been sent, what are your embellishments, what are your extras, where do you want to put them? Okay. Now, look, I want to show you something. Remember I cut these off of that paper? You might have something like this in your kit because I did hand some of them out that I was cutting off paper as I was building. I just figured I would look and see if it could be used as a little, header in here. I'm going to trim off my extra bits and pieces and see what we got. I'm pretty sure I can make this fit somewhere. What do we got? Oh, it's close. It's close from side to side, but I think we could do it. I'm going to put it right here above my envelope. That works for me. I like it. It's cute. Right there. See? So that's just making use of something that you would normally throw out. We're not throwing that out. We're going to use that. And like I said, you may have one in your kit because I did hand some of these out. Just kind of threw them in. I didn't want to waste them. I wanted you to be able to use whatever you could. There. Works for me. Cute. Okay. So you have different little signs, different little tags. I hope that you're embellishing. You've got all these beautiful big tags in your kit. You got more than the $25 kit, obviously. They didn't end up with a whole lot of these, if any at all. I'm not even sure if they got these. I think they only got the pockets. They were able to make the pockets. Whereas you have these pieces so you can put them in. Now you will need to trim them just a little bit because they are just a hairline bigger than the actual folds of these sheets. Not much, see? They're very close. So I'm going to get you to go ahead and start putting some of these throughout your book. If you want to build some pockets, I will show you that now. But I'm wondering if I didn't even include pockets. Instead, I gave you all tags. I'm thinking that's possible. But I'm going to show you how to put some pockets together anyway, just in case you want some. So you're basically just looking for some scrap paper. It doesn't even have to be Christmas. As long as it matches, you could use a solid colored piece of paper. Oh, I'm going to end up knocking these lights over, I tell you, because I keep trying to get up. Okay, let me see what I got. Let me see what I got. Okay. I've got this solid gray piece of paper and I'm going for it with that. So it's just a strip, always keep your bits and pieces. Just got a strip here. I like how far up the page it comes. I'm good with that. So I'm going to cut it into a square. Again, you guys know me, I don't pull out rulers and stuff. I don't have time for that when I'm crafting. It's paper crafting. I will when it comes to doing special measurements, but I'm not doing it right now. When I'm building, my brain's just on a roll and I go with it. So I just made a crease approximately where I need to be. I'm just going to go ahead and cut that. Now I have a piece of paper that fits just fine. And I like how far up the page it comes. That works for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to cut from corner to corner, just like this. I Again, I'm not, you could fold that in half. If you're not good with freehanding, go ahead and fold it to get a crease so you kind of have something to go by. So now you have two triangles. Check this out. That's two pockets, right? There's one pocket. I'm going to go ahead and put that down. No problems here. So when you do your pockets, before you mount that, you may want to face your pockets inwards towards your center of your book. Reason being is anything that you do decide to tuck in here like this, if it's going to fall out, it's falling into the center of your book. If you have your pocket going this way, where's it going to go if it falls out of this book? Gone, right? Now I've given you an elastic closure for this, so you should be able to keep everything in because this gets really, really full, but it's worth thinking about when you're placing your pockets down that you face your pockets to the inside of the book, okay? And I'm going to go ahead and pop this one on. See that? It was just a scrap piece of paper floating around my room here, and the color is perfect. I have no issues with that. That just worked out great. Always hang on to your scraps. You can create a little Ziploc bag full of scraps, and then you can see through it. You know what you have. Nothing wrong with this color. That worked out great. I also got two pockets out of it, so I'm going to go seek another place that I might want to stick a pocket. Where do I want a pocket? I think I'm limited now to working in my signature areas, so I'm going to go ahead and pop this one right here. Now, I like this one facing out. It will have items fall out of my book, but because I have a closure, I'm okay with that. I'm not going to put much in this pocket anyway. I like the look better. See, I don't know if I like this as much because I'm going to be fighting with these papers too to get things in and out. So again, it's all up to interpretation. I'm comfortable putting it this way. I think I like it better that way for this area, so I'm not fighting the signatures. So I'm going to do that. Go ahead. Put an L shape glue on it. You don't want to glue all of it, just the L shape. Then I'm going to pop that down right there. And that's how you can make some very simple pockets for these albums. Very, very easy. Okay, nothing fancy, nothing crazy. Now, you should have these lined sheets. You could put them inside here if you wanted to. Remember, we talked about putting flat items in your signatures. You still have some areas, I'm sure, left that could handle some flat pieces. So you can pop those in for additional notes if you would like to. You can go ahead and put those in. You're really at the point of doing almost everything from this point forth on your own when it comes to your embellishing, okay? Where you want to place things and what you want to do with them. I'm going to stop embellishing the interior of this book and I'm going to move into building the closure, okay? That's decorating you can do on your own, but the closure and the pieces I've sent you, I want to know that you know what to do with them, okay? So I'm going to pull that out and we're going to build this, which is very, very easy to do. Okay, so open this up, find it. It's got a white elastic inside of it and a whole bunch of tiny pieces of fabrics. Should be little Christmas fabrics, okay? And you've got this elastic, which is your closing elastic. All right. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take all your pieces, your little bits and pieces of fabrics that are in your package, and start laying them across your fingers so that you're finding kind of a center point with all of them. And they're going to be different lengths. They're going to be different thicknesses. Just try to find your center. Okay? Try to find your center. And then what you can do is leave your longest piece, whatever you find is your longest piece. You can leave that one out if you need to lay them all out. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to lay them all out in my fingers first. and then I can see which one is the longest. You're just picking them up, finding your center point, put them in your fingers like that. Good, good, good. All right. The red ribbon will actually work for what I'm after. If you have red ribbon too, I may have put this in there to be your closure, but anything will do. If you want to take your longest piece, you can do that. Okay, I'm going to use this red ribbon. We're going to tie it around this mess of fabrics. The more you can spread your fabric out before you tie this, the better. Okay, now don't tie yet, because I want you to also take the middle point of your elastic band and put that in here, because you're tying that into this as well. Okay, find somewhat of your middle point. Doesn't have to be perfect. So I've got my elastic band in there as well. Make sure it's inside. All your bits and pieces are sitting in the middle here. And then go ahead and take one piece of fabric and give yourself a real nice tight knot. Tie this up at the middle point, making sure your elastic is in there. Okay, pull it as tight as you can and go in for a double knot. You can even do a triple knot just to be sure. We're going to go ahead and do that again. And I'm going to do it one more time. If I can get it one more time. I'm trying. I'm close. I know you can't see what I'm doing, but I can't even see what I'm doing. I don't have my glasses on. No wonder I can't get that third one in. My goodness. It's very tiny. There it is. There we go. Okay, so I did 3. Now you want to leave those. Don't cut that off. Just leave it. And now what you want to do is just go into these fabrics. Don't pull them through. Don't pull them out. Just kind of spread them out and make them tassel-y looking, right? Look at that. Oh, so fun. That's fun. Okay? Now you've got this little tassel, right? Just a little mess of Christmas fabrics. It's really cute. So you're going to go ahead and take your journal, because the bulk of it, the thick of it, is pretty good. And because I've given you an elastic, that's not going to change. Do you know what I mean? That thickness, it's not really going to change. It can grow because you have elastic. Okay, so put the fabric pieces to the back of the book. Come on over here where you got a nice clean area to work with, a nice good area, and just make a knot. Stretch your elastic a little bit, right, because you want it to fit snug. So stretch it a little bit, and these are really good, like this elastic is good for being lenient, you know, it'll allow you to just keep growing. These are pretty good, these elastics, for that. So I have tied a knot in it. You can tie a second knot in it if you want to. And then at this point, you can cut these off. Okay, that's what I'm going to do with it. But if you have some creative idea that you want to use these for, that's fine. Just keep in mind that that's going to be filling again and making the journal that much more bulky, right? I'm just going to cut mine off. You can use these for something else. I'm certain you'll have extra as well. I do always try to send you extra amounts of, you know, threads and stuff, just in case you make any mistakes. So you could put this, you know, on the front of the book. You can put it to the side of the book. It doesn't really matter. But this is your closure. So when you take it off, now you have it sitting aside as you're doing your note taking throughout your journal. Okay? So that's one thing I wanted to work on with you. I have another thing I want to build with you. And I hope you're able to keep up. But if not, the good news is you can come back and watch this afterwards and do, you know, any of the little side projects I'm showing you on your own. With the $50 kit, I sent you a washi tape. It's nothing fancy, but you know what? You can use it for whatever. Washi tape is always good. You can use them for all kinds of things. In here, you've got all your little embellishments. You could have some brads, some flowers, some wooden decor things. You should have, these are Tim Holtz. They're wonderful. You could even tie this onto your thread if you wanted to, your closure if you wanted to. Look, that's cute. Take a little piece of this extra elastic. I'm just going to do it right now. Take a little piece of this extra elastic that you just cut off, thread it through, take it around the middle again. This is easy peasy stuff, guys. You've got all kinds of great little decoration things inside that pack, lots of embellishments to play with and think creative. So I'm just tying this really into this center point like I did with the red ribbon, right? I'm going to double knot it. Look, that is so cute. Yeah, and I'm just going to trim that out again. Aw, done deal. Look. And because you just used elastic to put it on there, you can move it and twist it and put it wherever you want. Look at that. See? You got lots of fun things in this $50 kit. You guys got all kinds of fun stuff. You should have these Christmas tree brads. Guys, I cannot find these anymore. The dollar store so they had these at the dollar store, I don't know, what, 10 years ago? And I bought as many packs as I could. I haven't seen stuff like this at the dollar store in years, because the scrapbook companies went, oh, we can put our name on that and charge 6 times the amount. So the dollar store doesn't have them anymore. It's so sad. But these are fun. Things like this are at the dollar store. These are fun. You can use them anywhere. Okay, so take a look at what's in your embellishment pack. But you should have this awesome possum candy cane looking paper clip. And I want you to pull that out because I'm going to show you something fun right now. I want you to pull together some scrap paper if you could. It can be end cuts. It needs to be kind of like rectangular. I'm just going to move some of this stuff aside for a minute here. Let's clear the area. Okay, I'm going to show you. There's 2 different things that we can do with this paper clip that we could use in this book, or we can use it for something else. Okay, so much fun. You can take some scrap paper and you can go in your paper clip. So when you have your paper clip like this, you've got the large loop that comes around. Leave that piece on the bottom. Okay, you can take your scrap paper, cut it to size. You want it to fit in here. You're making like a flag. Okay, so again, you know how I roll. I wing it. I wing everything. If it doesn't fit, I'll just come back and do it again. Right? Right about here. I'm going for it. Perfect. So I'm gonna feed it through there, but I'm gonna fold it in half first. Fold that in half. We're supposed to get some snow tonight. Did you guys get snow wherever you are? Oh boy, snow. Snow in October. All right, I folded it in half and I'm gonna put it around that piece. I need that to stay out, okay? There, like that. So you're folding it around, and what you're doing is you're making a paper clip tag or flag, if you will. So what you could do is you can glue this now. I'm not going to, because I'm going to show you another trick. You can glue this now so that it's flat, sealed, and you can do a few different things. You can take one of your wood embellishments and put it over top. Look at the paper clip you're making here. You can take some of your ribbon if you wanted to and have some pieces of ribbon coming out of it. Actually, I'm going to show you 3 things, okay? You can dress that up nice like that. You can take your scissors and you can cut it into a flag. Okay, I haven't glued mine because I'm going to take it off, but I'm just trying to show you some different things. So you can make your own flag, you got flag piece, you can put your deer on it, doesn't matter. You can put a flower on it, and then put your Christmas tree, your rare, hard to find Christmas tree embellishment on it like that. You got some gems, guys. You got some gems. Look at, there's gems in here. You could stick a gem on it. Let's go like this. Okay? All right, I got you thinking outside the box. Now, I'm going to take that off. You can take your ribbon here. Okay? I really hope that you guys can hear me okay. I hope this video is working out better than the last one. I was so sad. I was so sad. It was like an hour and 40 minutes of all kinds of great hints and tips and everything. And when I went back and got to actually watch it, the sound was horrible. I felt so bad. Okay, so we've got some ribbon. We're just going to take it, I would say, you know, I don't know, 3-4 inches, whatever you want. Okay, like that. Then we're going to fold it. So you can do this two ways. You can just kind of fold it like this if you want to. Doesn't really matter. Or you can kind of fold it where you crease that area, you know, like this. But ultimately what we're doing is we're going to thread it on the bottom of our paper clip. Any paper clip will do. You might have a gold one or a silver one at home. You can do this, okay? We're going to go into, we want to keep the double end at the bottom. We're going to go into the single end up here, and we're sending the fold through the hole. I'm going to come closer. We're sending the fold through the hole, okay? Just go in there like that. And then I want you to open it up, make kind of like a little passage in there, and you're going to send these two pieces, like your tips, through, send it through that little passage that you just built and pull. Okay, it's very easy. Okay, you've got this. Just like that. You're just going to pull until it's really, really, really nice and tight. Now, when I showed you, you could just fold it in half. What would have happened, and what may have happened for you right now, is this one might be backwards, like this. So that's why I twisted mine in the beginning, so both of the fronts of my ribbon were facing forward. It's not going to matter if you're using something that has pattern on both sides, right? That won't make a difference. But if you only have pattern on one side, that's why I twisted it, okay? Now, to finish this off, you would just take your scissors and cut up to the corner. There's one, and then I'm going to cut from the corner down. 2, ta-da, look it. Now do you want to take it another step further? Then just take something from your embellishments and glue it on, right? I know that color doesn't work properly, but you get my point. I'm just showing you. That one's a little bit big, but it doesn't mean it won't work. Look, that would work. There's nothing wrong with that. And you could take, again, a jewel, an embellishment. You can layer your flowers on here if you want to and really just make this big and bulky. You're thinking outside the box with this, aren't you? There you go. Okay, just like that. So that's 2 things that you can do with this. I'm going to show you one more. You can, again, turn your opening down. You can build sideways or you can build up and down like this, okay? I'm actually going to build up and down like this. Again, keeping both of my double loops to the bottom. I'm looking for some scrap paper here for a minute. And I want different sizes and I want different colors, okay? So I'm going to go with this blue. Now again, I got a pattern on this, so when I fold, my pattern's going to be upside down, but I'm okay with that. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. I just have to double check this for a minute. I'm gonna fold this and I'm gonna slide my paper clip over top. Now, here's the secret behind this trick. You need these paper clips, okay, you need this to be longer than the paper clip, okay? And then you're going to take this second piece of paper and you're gonna glue it. I'm just gonna cut this so you can get a better idea. Fold it in half over top. Now the paper clip's inside there, okay? I was gonna save this as a part of one of our kits. I was thinking of doing a 12 Days of Christmas kit. I don't know, my brain's on overload, where we would build a different embellishment every day for the 12 days of Christmas. And I'll tell you why I was thinking that. Because Christmas is busy and we don't really have a whole lot of time to mess around. So to do very small, quick embellishment tips and hints, one a day, it's touching base and connecting with your creative side, but it's not making long-term commitments where you have to sit down for an hour and a half like we are today and build something, right? So it was a thought. I don't know. I haven't really taken it any further than a thought. Okay, so I just did that wrong because I'm gabbing. So you folded this piece of paper over top. Sorry guys, I got carried away. I'm gonna cut this. I'm making this piece smaller than the piece that's inside the paper clip. And then I'm going over top. You may or may not like this. And then you're gonna glue this over top. Put as much glue on that as you can to seal that shut, okay? I'm not doing it because this is a fancy paper clip. I'm gonna hang on to this one, but I'm giving you the idea, okay? So now it looks like this, and it's glued. And then what happens is when you open this blue piece of paper up, this is called the hidden paper clip. You can't see the paper clip in there at all, but this functions, pardon my big giant head, it functions as a paper clip. So you just slide whatever you want inside there and it's holding it. It's not me holding it, the paper clip's holding it, okay? So that is the hidden paper clip. And then you can embellish this any way that you want to. Will this work in this book? It might. I guess it just depends on what we've got for width. I gotta find a spot. Where do I want to put it? Where am I gonna stick it? I'm gonna put it right here. Let's see what happens. Will it fit? Okay, it doesn't fit, but that doesn't mean it won't. All you gotta do is just trim off the extra here. The one that's most important to stay long is the one that covers the paper clip. You gotta make sure you're double checking both sides, okay? Because one side of the paper clip is definitely longer than the other. So we could trim it, you know, it doesn't have to be that long. And then try again. Let's see, will it go on? It might. We're gonna try. Yeah, I mean, it's in like Flynn now, you see? That works, okay? So you can build one of those if you want to. So there's 3 different super cool things that you can do with the supplies that I've given you. And this is why the $50 kit has oodles amounts of tags and embellishments and so on inside of it, because I wanted to show you some outside of the box thinking craft ideas that you can do to continue to fill this bad boy up and make it so thick and so much fun that you can't help but keep going back to it over and over again because you want to play with it. That's it, guys. That is building this pack. That was everything. We just did it. I have no idea how much time is left on here, and I know what you have left to get done. I'm just going to put my tassel on this because how fun. How fun. Look, I love it. Oh, it's so cute. I have so much fun with this stuff. Okay, so you know what you have left to do. You need to go in with all of your tags and your pockets and anything else that you want to fill in here. And you know what I'm going to ask of you today? I'm going to ask that you take some time to take some pictures of your work and please post it in this group. We need to get some different ideas. I want people to see how other people are using their kits, how they're enjoying their kits. So any and all feedback that you're willing to put in this group to share your work, it would just be wonderful if you'd be willing to share your finished product. I know I like seeing them. I feel like I kind of have some contribution towards, you know, what you're building, and it's very rewarding for me to see that you were able to accomplish something and build something pretty, because I was able to help you, right? So it's rewarding for me to see your finished work, and I love it, and I do encourage you to share. But outside of that, guys, I hope you really enjoyed this one. It can be used in so many different ways, and it doesn't have to be seasonal. I personally like it. I think I'm going to make a whole bunch more. Like I said, I'm definitely making these for my up and coming event, because I just think people are going to love them. So that's it, guys. I'm so happy you joined me. I'm really looking forward to going and making sure this video went well for you today. And that is it. I am out. I got to go put some wood on the fire. You guys have a fantastic day. I'm not sure what we're doing for kits yet, but we will take a look and see. All right, guys, you have a good one.